Love-inspired suspense and HarlequinAudio present Disappearance in Alaska by Elisabeth Rees, performed by Jennifer's son, Belle. In whose hand is the soul of every living thing, and the breath of all mankind. Job 12:10. For the Reverend David Rees, my father. 1. The black bear lifted its head as if saying hello, disturbed from its foraging by the presence of two bicycles speeding past on the road. Ava Kindred smiled and lifted her face to the wind, listening to the soft tick-tick of her wheels on pavement. 7 months ago, she thought she'd never feel happiness again. But she'd been wrong. These last 5 days in the wilderness of Alaska had made her feel like her old self. Her world may have recently fallen apart, but with God's help, she was learning how to piece it together again. A little way up ahead, her cycling partner veered from the road and into a rest stop, where picnic tables dotted a grassy strip. As was commonplace in Alaska, there were no facilities other than a rustic bathroom, and the area was deserted. But this was why Ava had chosen to travel across the state on her bike. She craved the peace and tranquility of this rural location, where she could reconnect with her faith and learn to accept the tragedy of the past. "Did you see the bear a little ways back?" her friend asked, dismounting and letting her backpack fall from her shoulders. "He was magnificent, wasn't he?" "Yeah," agreed Ava. "He was beautiful, but I don't want him getting too close." She rested her bike on the grass and took off her backpack, then clapped her hands and shouted, letting the bear know of their proximity. Her traveling buddy laughed. Selena was a lot more laid back than Ava, but when the pair met in a hostel 5 days ago, they'd hit it off instantly. From that moment onward, they decided to continue their travels across Alaska together. For the last few days, they had been exploring the majestic scenery around the town of Horseshoe on the southwest coast. "The bear is probably long gone already," Selena said, taking a tub of sandwiches from her bag. "Black bears are super shy, and they skedaddle as soon as they smell a person. We must have surprised him by our fast approach. They also eat mainly plant-based foods, so humans are not normally on their menu." "How do you know so much about bears?" Ava asked, taking a sandwich from the box and sliding onto a picnic bench. Selena sat next to her. "I volunteered at a summer camp before I went to college. It was in the Great Smoky Mountains, and I had to complete bear awareness training." She kicked off her sneakers, using her toes to tease them off at the heel. "One of the camp counselors dressed in a furry bear suit and pretended to launch an attack. It was meant to simulate a real-life situation, but none of us could stop laughing." She tried to control her giggles. "It was hilarious." "You have such great stories, Selena," Ava said. "For an accountant from a small town in Pennsylvania, you sure live an exciting life." "Hey!" Selena held up a hand, feigning offense. "Accountants are thrill seekers too, you know." She raised an eyebrow. "We're not as exciting as real estate agents, but we come a close second." "I'm not a real estate agent at the moment," Ava said, throwing her arms out wide. "Right now, I'm an explorer." Selena mimicked Ava's posture and threw her voice to the sky. "Accountants and real estate agents are the true pioneers of the world." Ava nudged her friend's shoulder playfully. Selena had been making her laugh ever since they'd shared a dorm room at the Bear Creek Hostel a few miles up the road. At 37 years of age, Selena Drake was 4 years older than Ava, but she was well-traveled and glamorous. She'd kayaked through the Grand Canyon, hiked in the Alps, and snowboarded in Scandinavia. She'd also provided Ava with a much-needed shoulder to cry on, as Ava recounted the awful car accident that upended her life 7 months ago. "We should set up our tent."
Sample complete. Ready to continue?